Hi, I'm Big Chan, formerly of Doggy's Angels. I used to rap in a group with Snoop. Snoop discovered me in like 93, and he was a fan of my music. And I just met him in a lot of freestyle circles, and we used to go back and forth. And this was before he was Snoop. He had just got signed to Death Row, and he used to always tell me that he would sign me when he got his own label. So, cut to that came to fruition, and that's how a lot of people know me. But my mother, on the other hand, her name is Loyce, and everybody called her Control, and she was a staple in the community. And my God, she loved fashion, she loved music, and that's where I got a lot of who I am from. And she did hair on Crenshaw for 20 years. She went to beauty school on Crenshaw, and when she didn't have a babysitter, she took me to school with her, and I learned how to do hair. So, I'm like 11 years old, and Miss Wells had me in the back, and I'm braiding tracks for people and making money. So it's always been in me to do some of the stuff that I've done, and it's because of my mom. So I know people are like, well, what happened to Control? Because I mean, she really was a staple in the community. And if you came to our house, you I mean, you have a confidant, you have a therapist, you'd have a cook if you was hungry, you would have a good night's stay if you was homeless and didn't have nowhere to go. So she was like everybody's mom. And yeah, I just you know like to pay homage to her because her efforts and who she was doesn't go unnoticed, and she's helped a lot of people. So yeah, that, that,
Absolutely.
that's pretty much who I am and where I come from. That's the kind of cloth that I was cut from.
There you go. So, speaking on cutting cloth, you are a designer, and I kind of want to backtrack though before we get into your designer bag, pun intended. I really think that we need to hone into what your mother meant to you while you're starting this business within her honor, and what she meant to the community. She basically taught you, and I'm going to use the most, common term is she taught you how to hustle, she taught you how to grind, she taught you how to get, it's not about how much you make, it's how you go about it, and how in this particular community you have to learn to not only survive but thrive in your businesses, right? So talk about her name and why your business is kind of representing her, and how we're pouring into that.
Okay, well, my mom, she's a different type of lady. She came to California when I was 9 years old with $100 in her pocket because her and my father had went through a divorce. And right then and there, she just showed me strength because as a single mother, she got on the bus every day and went to work religiously. And I mean, she held it down. She wore the pants. She did everything. She took care of us. And she always wanted us to know that hard work will pay off. If you work for it, you could have whatever you want. And, on the weekends, she would just take us to Beverly Hills, or Hollywood. She just wanted us to know it's more than the hood. It's okay for you to like nice things. If you work for these things, you can have it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your goals and ambitions are, you could do it because who comes from the South on a Greyhound bus with $100 in her pocket with two kids and actually make a life for herself and make a business? And so, one day we was at home and my friends, they could talk to my mother. My mama was like a big sister. She was everybody's mama, like I said. And one day she came in the house and she had an attitude because the dishes wouldn't clean. And so one of my homegirls was like, Control. Her whole attitude changed. And she was like, y'all start calling me Control from here on out.
Yeah.
So everybody just started calling her Control. Even if I was out of town, my friends would still go by and she'll call me. She was like, girl, guess who over here? So-and-so came by. We about to go eat. We about to go to the mall. And I just be like, but she was just a people's person. She was Man, she was a pioneer. She used to do the micro mini braids, and she used to braid Donna Summer's hair.
Mhm.
And she just loved her craft. She loved people. She loved community. So my mom, she succumbed to cancer in 2014, I
Sorry.
believe. And no, it's fine. And her last words to me was to just keep her legacy alive, you know? And so I just said, okay, I have the staple House of Cinderella. That's my business. But I said, I need to put her name out there. And she spells her name Loyce different. Like her mama named her Lois, Lois, but she legally changed her name to Loyce, Loyce. And so one day I was just thinking about how do I get her name out there and just, control. It's kind of cliche. I said she needs something signature. So I said she was always in her own lane. She was always, ahead of the curve. She was very, creative. So I said, I'm gonna just name it Lois Lane and just leave it right there. So when people ask me, she was just always in her own lane. She was very how can I say it? She's very strong. And so I just said, then you think about Superman and then you think about his protege, Lois Lane. So she had his back. And that's the type of person my mom was. If you had a problem, it was her problem. And, when you sit in her chair to get your hair done, you're getting more than just your hair done. Not only was she interested in hair care and healthy hair, but how you doing? Like, how are you mentally? Like, is everything good with you? You know what I'm saying? And she just was that confidant. So it just came with a lot. And I just feel like, it's unfortunate that she's not here, but why not honor her and let people know about who she was, you know?
Right. Absolutely. And what a powerful message that she left behind, right? With knowing how much a legacy means and letting that be part of her last breath is, keep me alive through your works and through your due diligence. So moving into more of like the multifaceted talent that she passed on through you, not only, do you rap, but you also sew. You're a designer yourself, and that's where the label is coming in. So talk about, your how you're juggling that and how you're working within the entertainment industry from both sides, both behind the scenes, designing for city girls to, being on the stage and opening up for them and doing, all the work basically. Talk about it.
It's kind of crazy because our record, Please Believe It, came out in 2000. And after that, we had a lot of legal issues because we didn't have a manager. That was a growing pain. And it was also a costly lesson because it kind of halted our project and kind of shelved us. And so, Snoop is our CEO, so it's kind of like a conflict of interest. We can't expect him to leverage us, because he's an artist too, and he's about to drop. So now the focus is on him. And somehow in that shuffle with everything that was going on, I became homeless. I slept in a car for 2 years. It was a very tough time for me. So me trying to pull myself out of that and then, okay, how do I'm on bus stops, I'm on billboards, we're on all the shows and everything, and now I'm homeless. So a friend of mine told me I could come to Atlanta. So look how ironic life is. I drove to Atlanta with $100 in my pocket. Of course, gas wasn't as high as it is now, but I was able to make it to Atlanta. And a friend let me stay with them. So before I even go there, my mom bought me a sewing machine when I was like 15. And you know how the old school sewing machines are where you could kind of tuck it like I have this one. I could
Tuck it on the table.
It'll look like this.
Yeah.
And it didn't work, but it sat in our living room for years. And I remember as a kid, I couldn't have been more than 5 years old. All her cousins sewed, and originally we from Louisiana. All I can remember is, sorry about that, all the fabrics and everything intrigued by that, and I was just it's something that always stayed with me, not knowing that it would catch up with me as an adult. So mind you, we had this sewing machine in our living room, and it just, it was just there like a desk. So I think that was God just giving me a little hint, because when I moved to Atlanta, the houses in Atlanta, you got a basement, you have living area on the top floor, and then on top of that floor, you have an attic. So I was like, guys, is it cool if I just stay in the attic? I just don't want to see nobody. I just want to get my thoughts together. I need to figure out what I'm about to do with my life. And as I was in that attic, I was asking God, I was like, what is it that you need me to do? Because, I don't win. It's like a fall from grace. You're out there, and then you got to go through these mental things. And so lo and behold, there was the sewing machine in the closet in the attic. And I said, it's just something about the sewing machine. So what I did is I went to Walmart. I got the few essentials and a couple patterns, and I sat there and I taught myself how to sew. And my friend that I was staying with at the time, she had like 5 kids. So I made something for the dog, the kids, everybody in the house. They was just like my canvas. And then I just thought to myself, I said, you know what? Let's take it serious and let's get back to LA, because I was initially going to Atlanta to try to still pursue music. But at that time, Atlanta isn't like it is now, and it was kind of cliquish. So I just couldn't get back in where I needed to be with it. And so I said, well, let me just, and mind you, I was making all my clothes, all the ideas that I thought in my head, I just started bringing them to life, because I've always was a fashion forward person. And even before we put our album out, Snoop didn't care how we looked, because that wasn't,
Yeah.
So I was concerned about it, because I was like, okay, we doing this gangsta rap, but we do want to sell records. So I had an idea for us to wear khaki suits. I know I'm switching lanes, but it'll all make sense. And so what I did, I just had all these designs in mind. So I said, well, let's take the khaki suits, let's take them to a seamstress. And it was Linda Stokes at the time. And, I was very inspired by her. She's done the most. And so the stylist at the time had us working with her. So I would send her sketches like, okay, well, let's do one shoulder, put a split in mine in the front of the leg, and, do the other girls off the shoulder. So that became our staple, the khaki suits, and just making them feminine and adding things. So it kind of set us apart. So cut to, I'm in that attic, and I said, well, let me go back to LA. Something just was like, go back to LA. And I drove back, and I'm still Big Chan now. People don't really know my story or what I'm going through. But if I was to show up somewhere, they'll be like, oh, Big Chan, whatever. So I was just starting to wear everything that I made. And people were like, oh, that's cute. Where'd you get that from? And I'd be like, I made it. And so one day, this stylist, he was like, you know what? We need a seamstress on set. Can you come to set and bring your sewing machine? I was like, sure. And then I got the same stylist that invited me on set. I just started doing a lot of work like that, doing tailoring and doing alterations. And then the cooking stuff would come.
So very, very great and powerful story there. Go ahead and shout out, your future projects coming out, and where we can find you on Instagram, and all that, so we can make sure we get that within the paper and the article.
Okay, well, I'll just give you my resume. I just out of all the opportunities that came about, and CeeLo was one when he performed with Madonna during the Super Bowl. I did his costuming. When Prince went on the Welcome to America tour, I did his costuming as well. And the pictures of that artwork still hangs in the forum to this day. Also, I did Beyonce when she did a tribute to Lil' Kim for Halloween, and I did her costuming. So I just wanted to give you a little
taste.
This is something I done, just telling you how good God is, because when he gives you a gift and you're obedient, he will make room for it. And not too many people can say that they, I'm a girl from the ghetto, I'm from South Central, originally from the South, but to have had those